Shall I start, ma'am?
Yes, you can start.
Thanks. Jai Hind. Good evening to our respected chief guest, Lieutenant Commander Parth Ragit sir, Honorable Principal Dr. R.P. Borkar sir, Dean Student Welfare Dr. K.M. Tajne ma'am, Trishakti Coordinator Professor Neha Khadse ma'am, ISA Coordinator Professor Praful Nandankar sir, and our amazing audience. I, Sonal Dhopte, welcome you all on the behalf of Trishakti Cell in this career-oriented webinar. Before starting today's session, since India witnessed a huge loss yesterday, that is, we lost our CDS, Bipin Rawat sir, and 12 other personals. I request all of you to please observe 2 minutes of silence in memory of the late Honorable CDS, Bipin Rawat sir, and others.
Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Yes, please proceed.
Thank you so much all for your cooperation. Indian Navy suffered great loss on 9 December 1971 at 8:45 p.m. INS Kukri went down with more than 176 officers and sailors. Captain M.N. Mullah was the first captain of Indian Navy to go down with warship. Tribute to all these great warriors. Now, I request my colleague Siddhant to present a short video on the glimpses of Trishakti Cell. Thank you, Siddhant. So, starting with the Trishakti Cell was inaugurated on the occasion of Kargil Vijay Divas on 23rd July 2019. We were fortunate to have this cell inaugurated by Air Vice Marshal B. Manikantan Sir, SASO, Headquarters Marine Corps, Nagpur. This cell is the brainchild of our first principal, Dr. M.B. Kunthekar Sir. Trishakti Cell is formed to motivate and encourage the youths of college to join defense services. Trishakti is the representation of the Army, Navy and Air Forces. Trishakti aims to grab the attention of youth and stir their enthusiasm. A fitness enthusiast and a voracious reader, AVM B. Manikandan sir left the mark on the young hearts. His inspiring talk ignited a spark in the minds of everyone present. All around the year, the defense aspirant students were given practice for various tests that are conducted in SSB interviews. Many students this year appeared for various defense examinations and 4 of them appeared for SSB in various streams. Trishakti is still and shall be active in motivating students for joining defense services. Now, I would like to request our Dean of Student Welfare, Dr. K.M. Tajne ma'am, to share her views.
Thank you, Sonal. Good evening. Today's guest, Lieutenant Parth Ragit sir, Trishakti Cell Coordinator, Professor Neha Khadse Madam, ESA Coordinator, Professor Prafulla Nandankar sir, Head of Electronics Department, Dr. Rajeshri Raut Madam, and my dear students. Let me first congratulate Trishakti Cell and ESA for celebrating Indian Navy Day and organizing such a important talk on a very short notice. This cell is the brainchild of our former principal, Dr. M.B. Kumchekar sir, and it was formed to motivate and encourage students of this institute to join armed forces, defense services, maybe army, navy or air force. And I am very happy to share it that this cell is very actively working and we have arranged various inspiring talks of eminent personalities of different cadre under this cell. We invited AVM Manikandan, AVM Wankhede, Lieutenant Shivali Deshpande so as to grab the attention of the youth to join defense services. Yesterday only I heard Lieutenant Shivali Deshpande again in the program Mission Sahasi, which was organized by Rashtrasanta Tukdoji Maharaj, Nagpur University. And there she mentioned that there are 8,000 vacancies in the armed forces. This means that the people are quite reluctant to join defense services as we want very comfortable life. So from this platform, I would urge my dear students to think of defense services as a career and live extraordinary life. I am sure that today's guest, Lieutenant Parth, will throw light on how to prepare for different exams, what are the different ways, and certainly you will get benefited from his talk. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak on this occasion. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your words of wisdom. There is a certain class of people who have not settled for a 9 to 5 job. They have a different idea of a daily commute and workplace. Their idea of a workplace is at the front lines defending our country. Being in armed forces isn't a job, it's a way of life. They are the people whose body strength is only second to the power of their minds. For them, excellence is not a goal, but a way of being, be it in the middle of gunfire or their daily lives. They are the reason we can have a calm night and a peaceful mind. They are the ones who have the burden of hopes of an entire country on them, but they carry that burden with pride. They are an invincible group made up of extraordinary people, and today we have with us one of them, Lieutenant Commander Parth Ragit sir. This man merely requires any introduction though. He was born and brought up in Nagpur. After completing 12th, he joined the National Defence Academy in 2012. Being in NDA for 3 years, he went on to Indian Naval Academy for another year. Following that, he was commissioned in 2016. Then, from 2016 to 18, he underwent various afloat training phases in different ships. In 2019, for his first job, he was posted to Port Blair and then to Chennai. Currently, he is undergoing a specialization course in gunnery branch at Kochi. So, the moment we all have been waiting for is finally here. I would like to request Commander Parth Ragit sir to share his thoughts and enlighten us. Please take over, sir.
Thank you very much for the generous introduction. Government College of Engineering Nagpur, its principal, heads of department, staff, and all the students. First of all, thanks for inviting me for such a good talk. Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Lieutenant Commander Parth Ragit from Indian Navy. I think I've been introduced already, so no need to repeat it again. For next 30 to 40 minutes, what I will be telling you in short, what I will be speaking about is basically, first I have divided into two parts. My speech, what would I say? Is first part is how to join the Indian Armed Forces, and in that I will cover my own journey, how I prepared and joined Navy. And the second part I will be covering life in the Navy, and in broad terms, what is the role of Navy in today's scenario, or with respect to India as a whole. So I will be starting with my first section. So as you all know, there are multiple entries for joining armed forces. Mostly I will be referring to armed forces, and sometimes I will be particularly referring to Navy, because I am in Navy, so it is I know the exact things what goes on. So I'll go parallel. I'll tell my own story, not a story per se. Tell my own journey of how I went from 10th, 12th, NDA, INA, and at the same time I will tell what preparation is to be done at each level, and what has to be done by for other entries as well. Okay, just a minute. I think my light went off. I just go. Okay, sorry, no disturbance as far as internet connectivity is there. So when did this idea of joining the armed forces came into my mind? It was after my 10th. At around after 10th, when it is generally time for every one of us to decide upon our career choices. What should I join? Should I become doctor? Should I become engineer? Law करना है, arts करना है, क्या करना है? It's a very confusing time. So that time I had started preparing. I had, as per everyone else, I had joined 11th, 12th classes. Same IT, JEE classes I had started, and everything I started. So I found those things to be very mundane. Means although it is required, many of my friends are preparing very hard, working very hard, but the prospect of doing same things for in my field as a career new setting, same as Sonal told, 10 to 9 job, 10 to 5 job, whatever. So that prospect did not basically fit with me. So what I thought, what is the next option? So being associated with Prahar previously also, so that कीड़ा वो अंदर था पहले से कि to join थोड़ा सा कुछ अलग करना है, something different करना है. So that was my main motivation. So I started looking at National Defense Academy, how to join, what to do. So initially it was all army join करना है and NDA जाना है. These were the basic main two things for me. That time I didn't know anything much about Navy. So I started कि ठीक है आर्मी ज्वाइन करना है और एनडीए जाना, तो एनडीए के लिए क्या क्या करना है. So that time my only source of guidance was Prahar, that was Shivali ma'am and Colonel sir also that time. So I went to ma'am ने Colonel sir also and ma'am, both of them told me क्या करना है, and I knew थोड़ा सा कि what exactly has to be done. So I started preparing on my own. So so at this step also, what needs to be understood is, if anyone has to prepare to join armed forces, so everyone thinks about is SSB, Services Selection Board. So definitely that is the most difficult or most toughest step towards joining armed forces. So, but before that also and after that also, there are various steps which one has to keep in mind while preparation. So, for example, I was aiming to join National Defence Academy. Excuse me. So obviously there will be a written exam. So I found out the exam dates, exam forms, what timeline do I need to follow to prepare for exam, what preparation I have to do for exam, what is the syllabus for the exam, because it can't be like everything under the sun is asked and I'm not aware of what is going to be asked. So I prepared on my own. I didn't go to any coaching classes or anything anywhere for preparation for written exam. So and if what my suggestion also to others is, if you are willing to if you are going to join and if there is any written exam, will be definitely the first step. So there is no need to join classes or do anything especially for the written exam. You can do it on your own. It's a very simple, easy. There are two papers. One is general ability and another is maths. What exam I gave in my 12th standard was, so it was the maths syllabus was from 11th and 12th only. Plus general ability consists of two sections. One is English, one is general knowledge. English was basic English. General knowledge consisted of various parts like general knowledge, current affairs, geography, history, some physics, some biology, like this. So it was doable. कुछ ऐसे there is nothing very difficult or very IIT level paper ऐसा कुछ नहीं. It is very simple. So after doing that, then I started focusing on services selection board. And at the same time, obviously, I ऐसा तो नहीं है ना कि मैंने 12th से drop ले लिया, 11th से drop ले लिया. I have to minimum requirement for NDA was 12th pass plus PCM. So I was studying simultaneously, playing also, doing other things also. So I started preparing for my services selection board. For this, I went to Shivali ma'am. As everyone must be aware of Shivali ma'am. So I went to ma'am. Ma'am gave me all the instructions. I went for around 2.5 months. Ma'am guided me, everything ma'am told, and then I attempted my first SSB. And luckily, or by my hard work, and everyone's सबके आशीर्वाद से, I got selected. I got through with my first attempt. After that, medical also I cleared, and after that I went on to then obviously after that I gave my 12th exam and other exams also, and I was waiting for merit list. Then merit list. So these are the three steps which I also went through: written exam, services selection board, followed by medical examination, which is taken at the same place. And then comes, and after that comes a merit list is prepared. It comes out after a few months, about 1 month before the academy starts, the session starts. So these are the generic steps, and I went through all of them, and luckily, or I got through everything in my first attempt. So these are the three steps. So while joining, also many times when I go on leave, when I'm at home. So many parents came, many students also come to me asking की दादा कसं तयारी केली, कशी तयारी केली मला सांगा. आणि मग and they ask many questions which are not relevant, which are they keep asking कि अभी इंडियन आर्मी के पास अभी ये आने वाला है, इंडियन नेवी के पास ये आने वाला है. So my advice to you is, although your general knowledge definitely you should be keeping it up to date, plus your English speaking skills and many other things. But at the same time, what you should do is your main primary focus should be on the next step, what you are going to face. That is, if you are preparing for written exam, then focus on written exam. Focus on what is the syllabus. It is all available online. ठीक है? I can't list down right now कि इतना syllabus है, maths का syllabus है, फिर इसके entry के लिए. There are multiple entries, and I only gave 10+2 entries, so I am only aware of those, and other entries which are mostly post-graduate entries, and there are many entries after graduation. All those entries, everything, including syllabus, including old question papers, everything is available online. So there is no need to, join coaching classes, pay big amount of fees, and ऐसा कुछ requirement नहीं है. Although for SSB you might need some guidance, and for that you might have to refer to someone which is available online also, and many places also have this guidance option. So these are the various steps, and what you need to do is focus on each step individually, and you can crack them. It is not impossible; it is possible. So ठीक है. although this numbers that get selected is very less, but it's not impossible. So, and one advice, one what I would like to say is, in all the steps, best preparation is self preparation. That I want to tell to everyone who is willing to join. And I think this does not apply only to armed forces. It generally applies to any preparation, any examination that you give. Okay, so self-preparation is the best preparation. If you want to improve your English, you don't need to join classes. You just need to do what you need to. What I did was read newspaper, read English newspaper, daily newspaper. You improve your vocabulary, you improve your English speaking skills, you improve your spoken English, and all at the same time you improve general knowledge, general affairs. You read editorial section, everything. You can read anything. You read sports section, you read front page, third page, fourth page, any page you read. So it's a generic advice that I'll give. Self preparation is the best preparation. You take out for written exam. What I did was I took out old question papers and set my time limit. Okay, this paper is for 2 hours, so I set 2 hours paper and I will solve it, and I will find out कि अच्छा इतना solve किया इतना नहीं solve हुआ, and I could solve within 2 hours or no. So that is generic how you prepare. That is how I prepared. That is how I will advise to prepare. If anyone else has any other method, then definitely they can go ahead with it. But for me it works, so that's why I'm telling you. So these are the various steps. Then I joined NDA 3 years. I was there at NDA for 3 years from 2012 to 15. Then being a naval cadet, I went on to join Indian Naval Academy. And my other counterparts who are in Army and Air Force. Army joined Indian this IMA, Indian Military Academy. Air Force guys joined Air Force Academy at Hyderabad. So there for 1 year training, subsequent training towards Navy. And after that, then I got commissioned in 2016. And then further I went for various, in Navy there are various training phases that you go undertake on board ship, on board bases, something like that. Then I did my appointments, first appointment, second appointment in Port Blair, then Chennai. And after that, now I'm here at Kochi doing my gunnery specialization courses. So that is the broad outline of how I went through my journey. It's a very short journey. ऐसा कुछ नहीं. I'm very senior officer. I've just completed 5-6 years of my service, quite junior in service. So I'm just like you can say normal officer in Indian Armed Forces. Nothing too big. I'm not praising about myself. Okay. So that is how I prepared. That is how I advise you to prepare. Now regarding various entry schemes, various types of entries in Indian Armed Forces. So if anyone is really willing to join, then rather than telling and taking 7 times, I will just simply tell you it is available online. You can go to for each service. There is a separate website. For example, Navy, there is a website called Join Indian Navy. For Air Force, there is a website called Join Indian Air Force, Join Indian Army. So there are 3 websites for 3 services. Anyone who is willing can definitely, everyone has internet access. You can go online, check these websites. There are steps by steps, everything is given. Different branches, what are the entry schemes, if you're qualified or not, what are the education qualification required, and if you are having a particular qualification, then what is best suited for you, what branch you can join, what branch you should join, various branches, the description. So everything is given there broadly. There is no need. So it is available. It is readily available. You can have study material also from various other websites. There are lots of online material, guidelines, everything is available. So that is there. So after, there are 2 types of main entries, like I would say after 12th and after graduation. So I assume all of you are, since you are in engineering college, so anyone willing to join will have to wait for their 4th year and final year and then give any entrance exam, which is there after your graduation is completed. And although you can start giving exams before also, and there are various schemes, entries for that also. So there are technical entry schemes, UPSC, Combined Defense Service Examination Scheme, which has all 3 services. Technical entry scheme will take you specifically to technical side of the armed forces, where you will join technical branches, engineering services, all those things. In Navy, you have engineering branch and electrical branch, 2 main branches for technical entry scheme. So you will join those branches. And there are various logistics branch, ATC, then air branch, fly, and so there are multiple types of entries respective corresponding to all the branches of Army, Air Force, Navy, all three services. So that is broadly how I wanted to explain. And definitely, if anyone has any specific doubt, or anyone else who wants to ask separately, at the end, I'll definitely give around 15 minutes for question and answers. Anyone who has any doubt can definitely ask me. Also, my phone number is available with. I was there in the group, so anyone has further doubts can call me and ask for any kind of help that is required. I'll be all ears. I'll have no. I'll definitely tell you whatever you need to know. Now moving to my second part of what I decided to speak. So second part is life in Navy. Life in Navy. So for this, I wanted to tell you basically this also I divided into two parts. One is role of Indian Navy, and second part will be organization of Navy, and its life in Navy. What you can say there. So first, what I want to say is the role of Indian Navy. So Navy, whenever someone says Navy, so all you can think is key ships hai, and but that's all. So that is all my image comes to mind. Anyone who is sitting at college or something else, because there is very less level of awareness what is there in the Navy. Even in fact, when I was joining NDA, I was not aware कि Navy क्या होता है. Navy, because what is the Navy? Although since at the time of my admission there was some shuffling in the merit, so I happened to get Navy as my branch, so I accepted it. I didn't have any choice. So that was a different story. But so Navy, I said okay, Navy, but still I'm able to join armed forces, na Navy. So subsequently, over a period of last 6 years, I've been in Navy, and so that's why I'm taking this chance to briefly tell everyone about what is the role of Navy and what exactly Navy does. Okay, because like Indian Army, many people are aware Indian Army karta kya hai, what is its role, because frankly speaking, there are many movies made on Indian Army, definitely, and there are many stories worth telling. Even more stories which can be told through various movies, because that is the most common medium of public awareness about anything, any issue or any, let's say, Army, Air Force, Navy. So Air Force also, Air is generally aware because they have seen Air Force of Nagpur has a Air Force base, maintenance command is there. So generally people are aware. But Navy, let's say for people like us who are from Nagpur or inside not coastal areas, we are not generally aware of what Navy is. So that's why I will tell you very short about Navy. So Navy, from other two services, Army and Air Force, is quite different. It is different in many aspects. For example, Army has only two main spheres of operation, like land and air. Like there is a aviation, Army aviation is also there. Air Force also. It mainly deals with only air segment. It is responsible for protection of our airspace. But Navy, when you come to Navy has three spheres of operation: surface, subsurface, and air. So no other service operates at all three levels. So there are basically two things. One is area of responsibility, and another is area of operation. Just nothing कुछ ऐसे हाइफाई टर्म्स नहीं है. Area of responsibility is entire Indian Ocean region. So I hope all of you have studied geography अपने स्कूल में. So anyone आपको तो पता नहीं पाएगा. But how many oceans are there in the world? Anyone remembers? How many oceans are there? So there are 5. No. I'm not asking right now. I'm just telling. How many of you do frankly remember? Just ask yourself. How many do you frankly remember? How many oceans are there? How big is the Indian Ocean among them? So Indian Ocean region, if you remember the geography, and if you imagine the Indian Ocean region, India is at the very center of Indian Ocean region. That's why it is called Indian Ocean region. Indian Ocean. So if you imagine Indian subpeninsula is like jutting outside in the Indian Ocean region, and on the western side you have Pakistan, then continent of Africa comes on the side, Madagascar, then south there is directly Antarctica. On the eastern side, if you see eastern side, there are Myanmar, then Malacca State, then our Andaman Nicobar Islands comes, then southeastern countries, and if you go more south, Australia is there, and if you go more south, then there is vast open region and directly touching till Antarctica. So that is, and it's quite a big area. After this, maybe you can go and check out exactly how big the area is. It is a very big area, and what is the, and so okay, Indian Ocean region is there, but what is the importance of ocean? You can say we have seen ki Indian Ocean, not Indian Ocean, oceans we generally learn in geography ki ocean covers around 71% of the Earth's surface. So, and out of which only 0.01% is drinkable and etc. 94%. So that figures and that we know, but what is its meaning? उसका मतलब क्या है? Because Indian Navy operates on seas and oceans. So what is its meaning? And to check your awareness, I will just ask. You can answer them to yourself. How many of you are aware? Ki, like everyone uses mobile data, internet services. So where does the internet come from? Anyone? I'm just asking question. No need to tell me right now. Where does the internet come from? You must be thinking, हाँ satellite आता है, satellite में सब wireless होता है, तो it all comes from satellite. But let me tell you, there is something called as submarine communication cables. It is a network of underwater laid cables, undersea cables. Yeah, someone just told. So I hope you are aware. 97% of world's telecommunication, data, banking, etc., everything happens over these communication cables. They are laid underwater. They connect. They travel all the oceans. You name the ocean, there are submarine cables available in those oceans. So that is one thing. Then entire, like almost most of the crude oil that comes to us is from oceans. It is transported over ocean. You can't have a pipeline connecting every region of the world. So all the oil sources, crude oil resources which are generated, they are mostly located over land or seas, and they are transported over various oil tankers over ocean. Then comes bulk cargo transport. So you say anything is imported from China, if imported made in USA, made in here, there, wherever it is, mostly foreign countries. So how does this import and export happens? It is almost 2/3 of the cargo import and export happens over ocean. Excuse me. So, and there are many things. Fishing is one of the major, food source for many regions. Also, various other trade activities happens over ocean. So, ocean plays a very important part. Although we are not related to it, we can't directly see it. कि अच्छा ये यहाँ से आता है, because we are sitting at our homes, हमें Amazon से parcel आता है. So we think कि हाँ ये तो Amazon वाले ने ऐसे भेज दिया, but it travels over a long distance. If it is outside India, then there are maximum chances that it has come over a cargo ship, which a ship is coming over ocean and coming to Mumbai, some major ports in India. So ocean plays a very big role. Oceans and seas play a very big role in our economy and our everything, in our country and our lives also play. So which we generally are not aware of. So anyone interested can later go and study, read out in internet. You can just search and find out about more these things. So this is how the ocean is important for us. And so what is now where does the Navy come into play picture? The Navy here has, so to state the responsibilities of Navy has got main 4 roles. The Indian Navy has got 4 roles. ऐसा नहीं ना कि Navy मतलब there is Navy but there are no roles. मतलब it is written. Everything is written. There are doctrines, there are policies. So Navy has 4 roles. First is military, diplomatic, constabulary, and benign role. So these are 4 roles. You can read about them in detail. Anyone who is interested. Military, by the name, goes to conduct military operations. Diplomatic is for diplomatic roles. For example, if you want to assist another country, what is the easiest way? You send the Navy. It is not army will definitely take some time. Air Force can go and it has to come back. but Navy is one service which can go there and stay there and help whatever any help that is required. So Navy undertakes various operations, to help assist and everything else. Then comes constabulary. So like constabulary means it's like a policing role. So at sea also there are since there are so many merchant vessels and fishing vessels and everything is there. So definitely there is a thing called piracy or terrorism at sea. Those terms are also there. Mostly piracy, armed robberies. So these things are also very much prevalent on the ocean. They happen even if it doesn't come in the news or something, but it keeps happening on a daily basis. So although it has reduced over the years, so that role is also there with the Indian Navy. Last is benign role. Benign role is various roles, various missions like HADR, search and rescue missions. Recently, 2 ships went to get oxygen tanks from another country. We went to supply some oxygen. So just example that I'm giving you. Some ships went a few years back to rescue some stranded citizens, Indian citizens from foreign countries. So all these things come under benign role. So all these things are undertaken by Navy. And if you think about it, it is a very important role that Navy plays towards diplomatic, what you can say, जो ऊपर की बात है ना, जो लीडर लोग करते हैं कि मोदी ही roams around, इतना घूमता है, यहाँ जाता है, वहाँ जाता है, वो why does he go? He goes कुछ sign करके आता है, कुछ मिल के आता है leader से. So that is required. So every time, everywhere, leaders can't go. So many places it happens. Navy goes, it stays there, it carries out operations, it carries out bilateral exercises, it carries out many things. So all these things Navy can do. So this I'm just broadly telling you, it is a very big topic. So but I hope I have made most of you understand. Kuch doubt hai to you can definitely ask or definitely read about it in further. And so to handle this responsibility, what Navy has also its own organization. So I will now tell you about that. So Navy has got 2 fleets. One is Western Fleet, one is Eastern Fleet. Western Fleet is located at Mumbai, Eastern Fleet at Visakhapatnam. So there are 2 fleets and it is headquarters in Delhi. Then there are 4 commands. Commands, when you say there are major commands, where again Mumbai Western Command is Mumbai, Eastern Command is Visakhapatnam. Southern Command is Kochi, where I am there right now. It is a training command, so mostly training schools, training establishments come under Southern Command. And the 4th is Andaman Nicobar Command, which is a upcoming command and being developed very rapidly for many reasons. So these are the 4 commands. And among these commands, there are various ships, there are various ground organizations, and ships are supported by those shore establishments. And there are air stations, naval air stations, which again support the role of Navy, support role of ships. There are submarines based at all the both the commands. Then there are various smaller locations where the Navy is expanding its operations, like Karwar, Port Blair, Chennai. So various places where Navy is expanding slowly. Although the pace is very small, but still it's significant, it's required. So like Air Force keeps, you must be keep hearing in news, Air Force is short of fighter aircraft to defend the airspace. So sufficiently, Indian Navy has also a requirement for ships, ships are minimum required to keep an eye on the area which the respective command or respective fleet supervises. So you can imagine a vast area. So like Western Command is responsible for the entire Arabic Sea starting from Pakistan, Oman, Qatar, the entire region till the south. Then on the eastern side, the Bay of Bengal, entire Andaman Nicobar, then all the region, that entire area. So if you look at geography, you visualize a map. On that, you can imagine it's a huge area, literally huge area, and if you and so in this area, how the Navy has what is the role of Navy? How does the Navy go about it? So there are Navy ships constantly patrol this area. There are constantly patrolling, policing around as per the directives given. So we do the patrolling. Any mostly piracy is not there in these regions. It is there close to the African continent. So there various ships go there, form group of ships, and they protect the various merchant vessels. So protection of these merchant vessels, there are protection various sea lines of communications, protection of all these things, all the assets at seas, and protection definitely of piracy, and then arms smuggling, many drug smuggling, arms smuggling. All these things are definitely the easiest way for anyone is to the ocean region, the sea route. So protection of this region, and it's so that comes under Indian Navy. So this is how the Navy goes. Then then the main element of Navy is the ship. So now I'll tell you ship ka organization kya hota hai. So for example, inside Navy there are various branches. So the most important branch is executive branch. So executive branch officer will be called executive officer. So like I'm also from executive branch. Then there are technical branch. Technical branch will have engineering officers and electrical officers. Then there are logistics branch. So they will be called logistics officers. Then there are various other branches. Medical officers, medical branch is there. Then and there are other arms like submarine arm is there, aviation arm is there. So aviation will definitely have pilots, uske maintainers, uske engineers. Submarine also has got submarine में uske submarine के navigators, submarine के ऊपर various officers which are posted there. So like this, there is a wide distribution of various branches is done. So I'll briefly tell you what happens on board a ship. Ship के ऊपर क्या होता है? So ship के ऊपर like any organization, there is a master, जो ऊपर the boss. He's called commanding officer of the ship. So he's also responsible for the entire ship. Then below him are various HODs, heads of department, similar to our normal organization. HODs. So HODs will be various. The most important HOD will be XO. He is called XO or executive officer. So he's like second in command next to commanding officer. Then with him, alongside him are electrical officer who is HOD of electrical. Then there is an engineering branch. So he's head of engineering organization on board ship, logistics and medical. So these are main 5 branches on board a ship. HODs on board a ship. And then each HOD will have his subordinate officers under him to carry out all the routines activities of the ship. So ships, there are various sizes of ship like destroyer, frigates, aircraft carrier, corvettes, smaller ship, fast attack craft, and so on and so on. So depending on the size of ship, this organization will also numbers vary. So like HODs will be less or more or many more. It varies from ship to ship. And below all the officers, there will be sailors. Sailors are basically अपने जवान. आर्मी में जो जवान होते हैं, same similar way, they are जवान to do the on ground work. So ship. So this is the broad organization of the ship, and each ship now. Why the ship is very different from any other unit or any other organization at any other services, because ship is a very complex structure. अगर आप if you look at ship, मतलब ship के अंदर what your main role of the ship is कि ship should move, it should float first of all, it should move, it should be able to fight. These are the 3 main roles of a warship. When you say a ship means warship, I am referring to warship. So floating, definitely ship is made of hull, उसका पूरा structure होता है. And moving, how does it move? It has got engines. So engines जो होते हैं, there are quite huge engines which are there on board ships, powerful engines, because ship has to move at faster speed. So these engines will be responsibility of engineering officer, and it's unka branch. Then obviously engineering is there, so there will be electrical, every light inside ship also. There are starting from a light bulb, fan, switch to everything. There are so many electrical equipments fitted, including weapons. All those require electricity. So there are diesel generators on board ship who power the entire ship, 3, 4, 5, whatever, depending on that. So this electrical side is the responsibility of electrical officer and his department. So, and then comes the move part. So who will coordinate among these two? Like there are engines to hai, electrical hai, weapons hai, but who is there to function? Who is there to चलाने वाला कौन है? So that there comes executive branch. Executive branch, the main role is to navigate the ship and its fighting efficiency. like navigating. Like for under executive officer, there will be navigating officer who will be responsible for navigation of the ship, how it will proceed outside harbor, how it will, which route it will take, क्या करना है. There are many things to it. Then second is let's say signal communication officer. He looks at communication from one ship to another ship, one ship to back to our headquarter, which is over land. So communication will be done by signal communication officer. Then is gunnery officer, which I am doing the course for it right now. Gunnery officer is responsible for all the weapons on board ship. He is responsible for firing, their maintenance, their upkeep, and so on and so forth. Then there are various other officers and or structure hota hai. Then there is a anti-submarine warfare officer. So he looks at mostly detect. His role is to detect submarines, because if you are at sea, there are definitely submarines. So submarines, it is not कि submarine हमारी होते submarine, enemy के submarine भी they keep roaming underwater. So to detect them and to identify them, there is anti-submarine warfare officer, and then there are various other officers which has different responsibilities. This is the broad what do you say structure of a Indian Navy Indian naval ship, and this is replicated almost every other ship. And like base, if you come at a base or a shore establishment, the structure will be similar. Although I will not go into that. So this is how a broad Navy ka ship ka organization plus Navy's entire Navy's organization, two different commands, various fleets, and this organization and the role of Navy that I explained to everyone. So this I had this much in mind, and then there are many other things. What is the importance of Indian Ocean region? So all of us are well aware कि अभी our two main adversaries are Pakistan and China. So Pakistan का अपना Pakistan comes from Arabic Ocean. He's there are a lot of things that keep happening on a daily basis. Plus, there are fishing activities, which is very unregulated, and like you know, everyone has 2611. So all the terrorists who came, they all came through a guide disguised as a fishing boat के अंदर में बैठ के आए. So मतलब how कैसे आगे वो? So these are the things to ponder. So there are various steps which are taken by Indian government and Navy to have a control over all these things. And what exactly कैसे उनको control करना, how to monitor them. So it all comes under Navy. So that's why Navy's responsibility is quite vast. And definitely in the coming years we'll see. If you follow news, there are a few ships which are commissioned a few days ago, and so on and so forth. It will keep happening. And at the same time, if you are interested, so you should keep up to date with the news, current affairs. जो भी चलता है न्यूज में, it keeps coming, and so in this way you can keep up to date. And definitely if you want to join armed forces, you can definitely join. Like the steps that I told you. So with this saying, I have come to like almost last 10 minutes are left, and with this I will now, if anyone has any questions, anyone who wants to ask anything particularly specifically can go ahead and ask me.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable knowledge and guidance. It was indeed an amazing experience to hear you out. I'm sure that it will be definitely helpful to us in future. Once again, thank you so much, sir. Now, if anyone has any doubts or query, you can switch on your mic and ask them or put it in the chat box.
Okay, so first question that has come in the chat box is how to go in aviation. It is asked by Sayudika Gawande. How to go in aviation, sir? Yes, aviation. So, like I told you, aviation also has a specific entry. Okay, it is called aviation entry only. It is a direct entry. After the process for joining is same as any other entry. You give exam, services selection board, and everything. उसके exact details like उसके forms and all you can get on the website. It's aviation entry. After joining the aviation entry, if you're selected, you will go for a you will go for a naval orientation course at Indian Naval Academy, Ezimala, for 6 months. About it is some 44 weeks to be precise. After doing that, then you will directly join Naval Aviation Arm. Naval Aviation Arm, and then you can then subsequent training is there in various naval air stations. Then you will be categorized as fixed wing, rotary wings, and other things. And there is also one more entry for observers. So what I will tell you difference between aviation and observers, right? What in Indian Navy, what we require is like aircraft. Like if you say aircraft, there is only one aircraft, the fighters. You come to mind, but there are various other aircraft also which are there, like maritime patrol, reconnaissance, and all these things. So there is a branch called observers also. They are also considered as aviators, but their role is not to fly the aircraft specifically. Their role is to operate the radar, operate all the machinery inside the aircraft, how they'll operate radar, they'll operate cameras, so other things. So you can definitely read about it in the website. So that is a broad thing. Next question is, sir, how was your SSB experience and what was your source for SSB preparation? By Mayank Kole. So my like SSB experience was definitely good, and like Abhitosko, it's almost how much 9 years. So I don't remember precisely, but definitely what for preparation, source for preparation was, like I told you, self-preparation is the best preparation. So self-preparation is the best preparation. So that's why what I did was self-preparation ही maximum किया था. And although for guidance, I definitely went to flight lesson Shivali ma'am. For guidance, ma'am guided me on various aspects like personal interview कैसे होता है. And SSB, there are many tests conducted in SSB, picture appreciation test, group discussions are there. Extempore speech is there, many things are there, group activities are there, group tasks are there, obstacle course. So there are many things. So in detail, there are books definitely available, and you can definitely go to any for guidance. Definitely you will have to go to someone to guide how to prepare, and then after that you can prepare on those lines on your own, depending on you. Suppose you think your weakness is English speaking, then you develop your English speaking. Suppose you say your weakness is say aptitude or something, so you can prepare on those lines. So that way you can prepare. So next question is, recently Indian Navy's Killer Squadron was awarded President Standard. What exactly is it given for? Okay, very good question by Mr. Mallar Paradkar. Okay, although the suffix he has added as annihilator with the suffix. So recently Indian Navy is like in the introduction to Indian Navy, this seminar it was told that Indian Navy Day is celebrated because INS Kukri was sank off the coast of Gujarat. Actually, in fact, there's a correct. If you really look into it, it's the day when Killer Squadron. Those are Killer Squadron is a squadron. Squadron is a group of ships. Okay, so they are based at Mumbai. So Killer Squadron. So in 1971 war, this Killer Squadron. So that time ships were older. Kuthar, Khanjar, Kirpan. These are the names of the ship. So these ships had a Russian missile on board them. So what Indian Navy was tasked with the thing operation was to go and bomb the port of Karachi. Okay, so in detail you can definitely read about it. So these killer squadron, they were very small boats. They could not go on their own till Karachi. So bigger ships towed them. उनको basically towing operation. Tow करके they took it near Karachi. Karachi में they fired missiles on shore establishments. Their one frigate, tanker. Karachi में their petroleum reserve. Many things were bombed. Missile after the missile hit. So and they came back. So it was a very successful operation, and it was a very big blow to Pakistan, which subsequently led to the surrender of Pakistan and everything. Then after that, Bangladesh was formed. So that story is a separate story. So that after, in recognition of that service, and obviously after that also the ships have evolved. New ships have come with the same name. They have continued their operation. They keep operating even today. They are one of the most heavily tasked squadron ships in the Indian Navy. So whenever, like you say, I have served in a kilo class, if I have served in this kilo squadron, so it's a thing of reputation for anyone to say, because they go on a very long sailings. Their sailing is very difficult. So that is why, in recognition of the service and in what they did definitely in 1971, plus in recognition of the service over such a prolonged year, the killer squadron is awarded President's standards. It's the highest form of recognition that a unit can get. It is awarded to unit. So, like, say, example, National Defense Academy, National NDA is also having President's standards. Okay? And there are various organizations or units in Indian Navy or Indian Armed Forces which are awarded President's standards, depending on their service, how they have evolved, their contribution to the armed forces, and many things. So it is for that. Next question is, sir, can you share the different types of training which Indian Navy soldier goes from with reference to different roles? By Rohit. Different types of training. Different types of training, matlab, exactly what exactly Navy soldier. So if you want to ask soldier, you mean to ask sailor, I hope. So like officers undergo different set of training, and soldiers or the sailors undergo totally separate training. So for sailors, it is sailors entry also 10+2 entry. It is called senior secondary SSR, senior secondary recruit. So it is also same procedure is lagbhag similar. There is a form you fill, like online application, small exam. Then there is a physical test like PET वगैरह उनको भगाते. They run the physical test, and then basis of small many other things they are selected. After that they go for 6-month training. Unka training is very short. They go for 6-month training at INS Chilka. INS Chilka, it's next to Chilka Lake, which is in Odisha. So there, that training establishment is there. So sailors undergo training there, and after 6 months, then they join their respective. Finish with time also. Anyone else? Any other questions? Can I take more questions, or should I stop here?
Yeah, you can take your time, sir. We have questions in the chat box, sir.
I think since I disconnected and connected again, the questions have gone. Nothing is visible right now. So anyone can ask or type. Anyone is willing to.
Here we have question in the chat box, sir. How can one get into macros? What is the criteria for the interested candidates? Does Navy also take lateral entry if the need arises?
Can you repeat the second part of question again?
What is the criteria for the interested candidates? Does Navy also takes lateral entry if need arises?
Okay, Marcos by Siddhant Patel. Marcos, yes. So definitely you must have seen some interesting videos or some good photos of Marcos in the uniforms holding rifles and all. So it's a very good branch. It's actually a cadre inside Navy. So it's a voluntary arm. It's precisely an arm inside Navy. So it's like Army has special forces which are para commandos. So similarly, Navy has Marcos, which are called Marine Commandos. So it's it's a voluntary arm. So for that there is no direct entry. There is no entry form for Marcos. You have to join as a general service like executive branch precisely, or technical. Now it is open for technical branch also. Once you join those branches, then at a particular point in your training, there comes a choice for you to volunteer for these arms. So specifically, I'll tell you, for at that stage you will have option for marine corps, submarine arm, and also aviation. So aviation, there is a direct entry, but for other these two things, Marcos and submarine, there is a, you have to volunteer after reaching a particular point in your service, like after academy, and then you finish your basic training. Then there is a time. That time you are eligible. There is a eligibility criteria, age group and all, and criteria that you have completed this training phase. After that, you can volunteer for Marcos. And Marcos, it's only thing required is physical and mental toughness. It's there is aptitude test for it, for getting into it. So it consists of various PT exercises like run, push up, chin up, rope, many things are there, swimming, and it's quite tough. So people prepare for it in a for quite a time. It takes months, 6-7 months to prepare for getting into Marcos. Once you get into Marcos, then there is a training phase at Goa. So वहाँ पे there more training happens, and it's basically like you must have seen movies में ना अपना Navy का US Navy का, like Navy SEALs are there. So they undergo a selection process, then people drop out from that process. It's a similar thing, Marcos also, it's a similar thing. So dropping out rate is quite huge. They drop out of due to injuries or unwillingness, but few make it to the last and they become, wear their own beret, and so then their operations chart of duties is totally different. I hope I have answered your question. Any other question? Anyone else want to ask? Lateral entry, if the need, lateral entry means what? Direct entry. ऐसे नहीं entry. It is not lateral entry. It is you have to go through that process only. Lateral entry ऐसे नहीं है. मतलब lateral, what do you mean by lateral? From other arms or directly? ऐसे नहीं है.
तो आगे मैं कुछ करने को बोल दिया.
Any other question, query, anything that?
Jain sir.
Jain.
Sir, can you tell the difference between the roles of Navy and Coast Guard?
Yes, definitely. Yes, Coast Guard, I almost forgot to mention. Good that you remember. So Coast Guard, as the name goes, Coast Guard is responsible for coastal protection of Indian waters. So if you how should I tell? Any water body which is sea, basically each country, most of the countries have a sea boundary. So this boundary, the sea surface, is divided into various areas. So there is a territorial area which is a 12 nautical mile. Then there is contagious zone. Then there is exclusive economic zone. So each country has specific rights or things that they can do over these regions. So it extends into the ocean region, and so basically you can so the territorial waters are those in which your laws of land, like जैसे हमारे मुंबई के रूल्स है, तो मतलब अपने महाराष्ट्र गवर्नमेंट के रूल्स है, तो these same rules will apply over territorial waters as well, which is 12 nautical mile from the sea line. मतलब अपने shore से 12 nautical miles into the sea. So these are various regions. So Coast Guard is responsible for protection of these regions, basically coastal protection of Indian Ocean region. So Indian Ocean region, Indian Peninsula. So India per se has almost 7,000 nautical miles of not kilometers, nautical miles of coastal boundary, coastal area. So uska protection is with Coast Guard. So Coast Guard is a very good service. It's only difference is it doesn't come under Ministry of Defense. It comes under Home Ministry. So थोड़ा सा इनका structure is slightly different, but still it is called as sister service with respect to Navy. So we have Coast Guard, Coastmates who train with us, and everything is there. So So they're almost, we know each other, we are very good friends, and so they also operate, we also operate. Their role difference is only this much. They operate close to land. They're like police of our coastal waters. Whereas Navy operates much deeper, and all the weapons and all these things are generally with the Navy. Coast Guard does not have any major weapons. They have basic guns and all, but they don't have like missiles or anything. It is all with Navy. So Navy, in case of war, in case so Navy will go. It will be supported by Coast Guard. I hope I have. Oh yes, thank you. Okay, next question. If I join the Indian Army as engineer or a technician, does flat foot matter? Flat foot. So flat foot. This is asked by Tejas. Okay, Tejas. So flat foot. Exactly how flat is your foot? That I frankly don't know. Although in medicals, it is this condition is checked. So I think a better suggestion will be some doctor who can tell you exactly what a flat foot is, because the joining process is same. It is not different. Medical process are same, although there are slight differences. But flat foot, I think it is not allowed if it's very extreme. But some percentage, some level should be allowed. Like there is difference in, like if you have eye power, चश्मे का power है. So in army and navy, थोड़ा सा नहीं. Only army थोड़ा सा number is allowed. I think 0.5 or something. But in air force and navy, that much is also not allowed. So that minor difference will be there. But flat foot, I think most likely it is not allowed. But depends on how severe that flat foot is. So exactly, I can't tell you with respect to specifically you. But yes, you have to check, cross check. I can't tell you exactly. But yes, it is not allowed.
Now, I guess all the doubts have been cleared up to some extent. Now, I would like to request all the participants to switch on their cameras to make this moment a memorable one.
उसको बोलो कि मेरा नाम
Okay, so just 2 minutes. I will just take this time to थोड़ा आभार प्रदर्शन, as you call it. So Government College of Engineering Nagpur, principal sir, all HODs, Trishakti cell that you have organized and started, a very good initiative. So I would personally thank every one of you for inviting me to this Trishakti cells webinar, and giving me opportunity to discuss and tell my thoughts and sharing my experiences with you, with every one of you. And definitely it's a good experience for me also. And I also I also like to share my experiences. I like to guide as many people as possible who those who want to join armed forces in any capacity whatsoever possible. So I sincerely I'm thankful for everyone for inviting me, and definitely further also, if I'm able to assist you, any one of you, definitely I'm available, and anyone can call me, message me, anything that is required, I will definitely help you. And any such thing in future also, I'm ready to help. So thank you everyone from my side.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
So, moving on to our last segment, which is a vote of thanks, I would like to request Trishakti Faculty Coordinator, Professor Neha Khadse ma'am, to express vote of thanks. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Sonal. As we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words but to live by them. I deem it is a great honor and privilege to propose a vote of thanks on behalf of Trishakti Cell GCOEN. My heart filled with lots of gratitude and respect for our distinguished guest speaker, Lieutenant Commander Parth Ragit sir, for not only sparing their invaluable time for us to grace this webinar, but also for enlightening us with their commendable talk on the subject. We are grateful to our Respected Principal Dr. R.B. Borkar sir for being catalyst that inspired us to do our best and stand as a pillar of power. I would like to thanks Dr. Raut madam for always supporting and helping us. Ma'am, we will try to work with the same tempo and with the same zeal. I would like to thank Dr. Tajne ma'am for your rock solid support system. I would like to thank Praful Nandankar sir for your right logistic support, guidance and heavy cooperation in organizing of this program. I extend my thanks to all faculty members for their valuable contribution, guidance and encouragement in all our efforts. I owe a special gratitude to all the team members of Tri Shakti Cell who have worked hard to ensure that this event become a memorable and successful. Once again, I thanks everyone for gracing this occasion with their presence. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you, Seema.
Thank you, ma'am. I conclude the program by again expressing my gratitude towards each and everyone present in the meeting. Sorry for the technical issues, if any occurred. Thank you.
I'll request all. I'll request all to fill the feedback form. Will be just posted in the chat box. You will receive the certificates of this event once you fill the feedback form.
Okay, thank you, Ren. I'll log off now. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind, sir.
Jai Hind, sir.
Jai Hind, sir.